What up? What up? What up? What up? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. It is your boy Darion, and I am live with another episode of the Darion Hopkins Show. It is episode 35, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 35. Definitely are in the building. Thank you to everybody just tuning in or making their way in here. Shout out to everybody that's on Facebook, which is at the Darion Hopkins Show, or my personal page at Sunny Hopkins. Or you watch it on the YouTube channel at the Darion Hopkins Show, or you're watching on Twitter at the Darion Hopkins Show. Thank y'all for tuning in. I did not want to use my other mic today. I wanted to use a headset to be a little bit more lenient, a little bit more fluent with it and everything of that nature. But shout out to everybody that's here. Make sure you share the live. Make sure you comment on the live, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow my Facebook page at the Darion Hopkins Show on Facebook, which we be doing all the information there. Shout out to Bet Us. Shout out to SeatGeek. Shout out to Fanatic. Shout out to everybody that is a sponsor of the Darion Hopkins Show. But before we get into that, I do have to shout them out as well. So if you like live concerts like the Roots Picnic, if you like concerts like jazz or comedy concerts or live events in that nature, or you want to go to any sporting event from NHL, MLB, NBA, golf, you name it, SeatGeek has it for you. So if you go to SeatGeek.com, and when you go to the checkout, you go to promo code DHopkins and get $20 off your first purchase with us here at SeatGeek. So make sure you go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code DHopkins in all caps. Now, for all you sports bettors out there, that love to bet on sports, that love to bet on golf, MMA, UFC, or you like to be betting in the online casino with Blackjack 21 and everything of that nature, make sure you go to betus.com and receive 125% of your sportsbook upon the initial deposit. So make sure you go to the link in the description where it says that, so you can receive your 125% of your sports book upon the initial deposit. Link is in the description with Bet Us. And shout out to Fanatics.com. Shout out to Fanatics.com, where you get all your sports gear, your Raiders gear, your Eagles gear, your football gear, your basketball, NHL, any sport. You go get your gear right there. And right now they're having a sale for 65% off of the whole store worldwide. So make sure y'all go to Fanatics and definitely check them out there. But we got some great topics today here on the Darion Hopkins Show. Some very, very interesting topics here on the Darion Hopkins Show. We're going to be talking a little bit of basketball. We're going to talk a little bit of football. We're going to be talking a little bit of a lot of things here. So we're going to talk about Nikola Jokic. He's the toughest player. He's the toughest player to guard in the NBA. We're going to play fill in the blank. We're going to play fill in the blank. We're going to talk about Kyrie news, that he's shutting down the rumors of him going to LA. We're going to talk about that. Can the Dallas Cowboys on the NFL side, can the Dallas Cowboys offense be enough? Is their offense strong enough to make a Super Bowl run? When it comes to the Indianapolis Colts with their investigation of Isaiah Rodgers and his possible betting investigation, we're going to talk about that. We will talk about Justin Herbert, that we heard that the contracts are ongoing of giving him an extension already. Should he deserve that extension? We'll talk about that later. And who is the best team in the AFC East? Who is the team to beat? Who will dethrone the Buffalo Bills? And we're going to talk a little bit of WWE as well, because I did watch Monday Night Raw. And I'm going to a short recap of Monday Night Raw. And, Money in the Bank is coming up, and they have a lot of qualifying matches happening there. So we're going to talk about a few things that happened on Monday Night Raw, which I wasn't really too experienced, or not experienced, but too much of. I was kind of bored with Monday Night Raw last night. So it's a lot of things that we're going to talk about here. We'll play a little bit of fill in the blanks, Laker talk, basketball talk. But let's first get into it, man. Let's get straight into the first topic. We all know the NBA Finals is tomorrow, which I'll be live for the play-by-play and reactions, and we will do our topics about the NBA Finals Game 3 in Miami. We definitely will talk about that with the rest of the crew. But this is the first topic, and I'm going to get straight to it because I'm really 100% raw and uncut when it comes to this. And I'm going to be completely honest here. Let me get my water real quick. Let me get my water and talk to y'all real quick. All right. Is Nikola Jokic the toughest player to guard in the NBA? And the only reason why I asked this, because I saw it on ESPN First Take. Shout out to ESPN First Take. And I wanted to give my thoughts on it. Because I felt like you can make an argument for this. You really can make an argument for Nikola Jokic to be one of the toughest players to guard in the NBA. And I'm going to tell you why. And I understand that these numbers might not mean nothing to y'all while we have this topic. But if you look at Nikola Jokic wins and losses, if you look at that, right, and you see that, and you look at when he wins, these are the numbers when he wins, ladies and gentlemen. Nikola Jokic wins average. When the Denver Nuggets wins with him, 26.9 points a game for Nikola Jokic. 13.6 rebounds for Nikola Jokic. Almost 10.5 assists for Nikola Jokic. Shooting 52% from the field with Nikola Jokic and 44% from the three. And all in the win column for the Denver Nuggets. But in the losing column, it looks a little bit different. Because he averaged more points, which was 41.8 when they lose. He averaged 10.8 assists when they lose. He averaged 9.5 assists when they lose. He shoots 60% from the field when they lose and shoots 53% from the three-point line when they lose. So it's very interesting to see that is interesting there. But before I finish this topic, shout out to Dominique 5. Shout out to Kevin Locklear. Make sure y'all share the live on your Twitters, on your Facebook, or whatever. Tell a friend. We really do appreciate it. But is Nikola Jokic the toughest player to guard in the NBA? This is a very debatable topic. And I'm going to tell you why, because you have the Stephen Currys of the world. That is hard to guard is Stephen Curry in this day and age. That guy moves without the basketball in an aspect that Nikola Jokic doesn't move without the basketball. Yes, he's dominant at his position. But we're talking about the toughest player to guard in the NBA, period. I feel like it's harder to guard Stephen Curry when it comes to his position. And I feel the same way about Nikola Jokic. If you look at it, because Nikola Jokic is a guy that can do all 5 things on the floor. The only thing that he can't do on the floor is move without the basketball. He can set picks other than that, and probably a pick and roll. But the way Steph Curry maneuvers around the court, the way you got to chase that man down 99% of the time, all night long, no matter who's the switch, no matter who's the defender on Stephen Curry. I think it's harder to defend Stephen Curry than it is Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is going to get his numbers. We all know that he's going to be one of the greatest big men to ever do it. We understand that. But Stephen Curry, to me, is really harder to guard. Me being a former guard and moving without the basketball makes it more difficult for you to guard. Mind you, Stephen Curry is one of the greatest shooters to ever do it. Probably the greatest shooter. Let's not forget that. Stephen Curry is that dude. Just because they ain't win the championship, just because they ain't get to the NBA Finals, Stephen Curry carried that team through this whole playoffs. Let's just keep it real. So it's definitely between Jokic and Steph. You can say that when it comes to position, Jokic is harder to guard at his position because there's really no big men his size in the league. So I can understand why you can say that he's harder to guard than Steph Curry, because when it comes to a big man, it's not really too many big men in the league outside of Jokic and Joel Embiid that can play the way they play, how elusive they can play. So if Nikola Jokic is harder to guard than Steph Curry, I would say no. But is Nikola Jokic is tougher to guard at his position? Absolutely. I just can't say that he's the toughest player to guard in the NBA, because you got a Steph Curry on the other side that has something to say about that. You do. It's definitely between Jokic and Steph Curry here. It has to be. Even though Steph Curry leads damn near every statistical category from the three-point line, beating up the greats of Reggie Miller, beating up the greats of Ray Allen, beating up the greats of some of the greatest shooters to ever play this game, from the Glenn Rices of the world. You know? So it's really tough to really try to make this argument between Steph and Jokic, but the question remains is, can Nikola Jokic is the toughest player to guard in the NBA right now? As of right now, yes. Yes, but is he the toughest player in the league in itself? No. Because Miami right now in the NBA Finals does not have an answer for him, but they still won the game in game 2. But Jokic still put up, 41 against him in the loss? What's going on, Tyra? What's going on, beautiful? What's up? But like I said, if you look at those numbers, when they lose, he averaged 41. He averaged 10, almost 11 rebounds a game. Almost 10 assists a game. 60% from the field when Denver loses games. 53% from the three-point line when Denver loses games. So that means that Jamal Murray got to play better. That means that the team around him got to play better. Because if you're winning the game averaging 26 and you're losing the game averaging 41, that's a problem. And I'm doing good, Tyra. I'm doing really, really good, beautiful. How are you? And just trying to keep my head level, just trying to keep my head level and keep things to the extent, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to keep it to the extent. But, yeah, he's tough to guard. He's definitely tough to guard. He's definitely tough to guard. So Tyra said in the questions, how do you feel about LeBron? As far as what? How do I feel about LeBron possibly leaving? I talked about this on my show yesterday. I'm going to give you a brief recap of what I said on the show yesterday. And I don't think LeBron is leaving. I don't think that there's a team out there that's going to want him outside of the Dallas Mavericks. It was some rumors that came out about him stating that he wanted to, that they was trying to get Kyrie wanted LeBron to come to Dallas. But I said that's unrealistic in my opinion, because Dallas is not going to pay 3 max players. Because if you do, who is your supporting cast and who is your guys that's going to help you outside of your big 3, which is Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James? I understand LeBron James got 1 more year left on his contract. That's up to $50 million. I think they might. It really depends on how LeBron feels, for real. It really depends on how LeBron feels body-wise. I think he don't want to go out the way he went out in the conference finals. I don't think he wants to get swept. He doesn't want to go out that way. I think he wants to bounce back this year and stay a Laker and probably finish his career off as a Laker. So I don't see LeBron James leaving at no point in time. I just don't see it. At all. I just don't see it. But as far as Nikola Jokic go, he's tough. He's tough, man. He's a tough big man. He's a tough big man, and he's harder to guard at his position. He's definitely harder to guard at his position. I feel the same way about Steph Curry. I think nobody at his position, you can't tell me another guard at the position that Steph Curry play that somebody's harder to guard than Steph Curry. I just don't see it. Same thing I feel about Nikola Jokic. He's the toughest to guard at his position. If he's the toughest guard to in the NBA, that's another debate and another topic at another time. You feel me? So, Make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you share this live out to tell a friend and tell a friend, and let the people know that we are here and we are live for it. Tyra Garner Ebony says that I think it might need some of his younger guys to help him win a championship. It's almost time for retirement. Interesting take there. His younger guys got to help him. And I think the Lakers have to get younger than what they are now, to me. You have to keep the Austin Reeves. I don't think you keep Jarrett Vanderbilt, even though he's a good defender, but he's a liability on offense. I think you got to move D'Lo to get somebody that could be reliable. You keep Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, they have to get some pieces in place to help LeBron win the championship before he actually ride out into the sunset, basically. So, shout out to everybody that's been here, man. Shout out to everybody that's been here. So, I have a fill in the blank for y'all. That's everybody that's watching. I have a fill in the blank for y'all. And the fill in the blank is this. And I'm going to come back to this question because my boy Mac is going to come on between 12 and 12:30. 12:30, 1 o'clock. He's going to come on in a little bit. I mean, I'm going to bring this question back up. And I need y'all to fill in the blank with me here. Fill in the blank with me here in this. The Miami Heat winning the championship would be blank. The Miami Heat winning the championship would be blank. So I wonder what would happen and how would it be if the Miami Heat won the championship? So I would love to see what y'all have in the chat of what it would be. Because if y'all don't have nothing in the chat right now, I could come back to this question later. Definitely come back to this question later. But I am going to share this live real quick. So just give me one moment. So great for them because it's been how long? Well, I mean, but foolery. Oh my God. Tyra, please. No, she did not say foolery. If the Miami Heat win the championship, let me go back to that question. Let me just think about that real quick because if the Miami Heat wins the championship, right? This would be the greatest run in NBA history, in my opinion. The Heat winning the championship would be one of the greatest runs that I ever seen in NBA history. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to absolutely tell you why. Because people probably go think like, are you serious here? Yeah, I'm serious. If the Miami Heat can knock off the number one team in the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals, this would be the greatest run I ever seen in NBA history. You can say what you want. Insurmountable. You're absolutely right, Dominique 5. Oh, my God. Dallas Mavericks all day. F all them teams. You know what, Tyra? How are you a Seattle Seahawks fan and a Dallas Mavericks fan? That just don't make sense. But getting back to my topic, I think it'd be the greatest run that we ever seen in NBA history. I said it. Look at the amount of things that this team had to go through to win an NBA Finals. One thing about this Miami Heat team, they are very consistent. They was at the Eastern Conference Finals last year and lost in the Game 7. They went to the finals in the bubble back in 2020. So they've been here. They just got to get over the hump. So if Miami end up winning this championship, it'll be the greatest run in the history of the NBA. Looking from where they came from. They lost their first playing game. They lost their first playing game on their home floor. They had to go to Chicago and beat the Chicago Bulls in the play-in tournament just to get the AFC, just to be in the actual NBA playoffs. Then you have to go on the road and go up against the number one team in the East. And I don't care what people have to say. I don't care if Giannis got hurt in that game. They say, oh, if Giannis was healthy, they probably would have got out of the first round. I disagree. Because even when Giannis came back, they still lost. They lost 5 games to 1. But the number 1 seed in the East, think about that. Number 1 team in the East. And one of the best players on this planet in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Hurt or not hurt, they still lost 5 games to 1. They couldn't even make it a 6th game. They couldn't make it a 7th game. Come on. Let's be real here. And Jimmy Butler played well until he got hurt. But we're going to talk about that too. So you move on from the Milwaukee Bucks and you go play the New York Knicks. And I'm judging you, Tyra. Yes, I am judging you. I said it. I'm judging you. So if you want to come up here, I can send you the link, Tyra. That's not a problem. I can send you the link if you want to come up here. I would love to have you come up here on this show. But Jimmy Butler and his Miami Heat team was resilient. Tyler Hero went down with a broken hand in the first round and had to go and place a New York Knicks team that was pretty good. With Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett and them boys. It was a tough series. It was a physical series. And Jimmy Butler tweaked his ankle in that series. Really have not been the same since. So if you look at it from that aspect, okay, they win the games 4 games to 2. If I'm not mistaken. That's 6 games, right? They won it in 6 games, 4 games to 2. Which Miami probably could have beat them in 5 games if they would have won in game 5 in New York. But they won on their home floor in Miami. It was tough to defend Jalen Brunson in that series. So they end up beating the New York Knicks in 6 games. And then you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I guess the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference in the Boston Celtics. You go up 2-0 on the Boston. You go up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Brogdon coming off the bench. Robert Williams coming off the bench. And you go up 2-0 on their home floor. Then you win a game 3 in Miami and blow them out in Miami. Blow them out. And then you lose 3 straight. You lose 3 straight to the Boston Celtics to force a game 7. And you come through and beat the Boston Celtics on their home floor 4 times in that series. 4 times. And then you go to the number 1 team in the West in the Denver Nuggets. You lose game 1. And you didn't shoot well. You didn't shoot well at all. You lose game 1. And then you go to game 2. And you make history for the Miami Heat. The first team to ever beat the Denver Nuggets at home this postseason. The first team to do it. The Lakers couldn't do it. The Suns couldn't do it. And the Timberwolves couldn't do it. But somebody from the Eastern Conference had to come in from the finals and actually do it. So it goes back to my question. Matter of fact, it's not really a question. It goes back to my fill in the blank. The Heat winning the championship would be blank. So yeah, I think it would be the greatest run in NBA history if the Miami Heat can pull this off. If they can. If they can. So yeah, I damn sure know for a fact that this squad can get it done. Heat culture, baby. It's all about the Heat culture over here. All about the Heat culture. So, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of Kyrie Irving and his Dallas Mavericks situation. I want to get down to that. And I'm going to get to Monday Night Raw and everything of that nature when it comes to it. I'm going to get down to it. But I want to nip this in the bud right now. That Kyrie Irving he wants to stay with the Dallas Mavericks. He wants to stay with the Dallas Mavericks. Absolutely. So Kyrie Irving rumors, he says that he wants to stay with the Mavs, and he quiets the noise about him going to the Lakers at all. He wants to stay in Dallas. Now, we know that the Dallas Mavericks wants to give this man $275 million on 5 years. They want to give this man that. So I don't blame him. So when it comes down to this article, it says that the Dallas Mavericks star Kyrie Irving is set to become an unrestricted free agent this summer. Now, it says that many expect him to explore the open market and potentially sign with the Los Angeles Lakers to reunite with LeBron James. But however, it sounds like it's going to be anyway. It's not going anywhere this offseason. So it looks like it's not going to happen. But according to NBA insider Mark Stein reports that sources close to Kyrie Irving says he has consistently expressed the desire to remain a Maverick and actually wants to shut down the notion that he's aligning to go to Los Angeles Lakers. He says that he wants to stay, according to Mark Stein. Earlier on Monday on Bleacher Report, Chris Haynes in The Athletic in the stadium of Shams said and reported that Irving was trying to recruit LeBron James to come to the Dallas Mavericks so they become or form a big three with a star point guard in Luka Doncic, while James joining the Mavericks appears to be impossibility, which I shut down that notion yesterday. And it reportedly won't hurt the team's chances at retaining Kyrie Irving. Now, I can say when it comes to Mark Stein noted in the sources said that he has not wavered from his hope and intent to re-signing Irving in free agency and to pursue a further potential win roster and upgrades via trade packages built around the 10th overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft on June 22nd. Now I can say the Dallas Mavericks owns Kyrie Irving's birthright to offer him the maximum of $272 million over the next 5 years, where they only be able to sign a 4-year deal roughly up to $202 million with another team. So things may have played out the way the other side hoped after Dallas acquired Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets in February, but continued to partnership and make a lot of sense for all parties. This is a very interesting story here. It's a very, very interesting story. The Mavericks needs a player of Kyrie Irving's caliber next to Doncic to return to the playoffs next year after a falling short season. Now, Kyrie Irving has fallen out of the favor of some of the league circles of the stuff of the crazy run that he had in Brooklyn, and that saw him missed some games for reasons that had nothing to do with basketball. And, remember at the time when he was in New York and he had the refusal to play basketball due to the COVID-19 vaccination mandates in 2021 and 2022. And a suspension that shared him an anti-Semitic film on social media earlier this season that really took him away from basketball. But everything is to remain to be seen. Whether it's the Dallas Mavericks will be able to hold Irving into a title contending roster around him and Luka Doncic. So, it sounded like that Kyrie Irving wants to stay in Dallas. And I don't have no problem with that. But you still have to go out and get role players to help these two out if you don't get a LeBron James. Do anybody think, and I would love to hear this in the comments in the chat as well. I love to hear this. Do y'all think Kyrie Irving is worth 5 years, $272 million? When he's on the basketball court, absolutely. I think he's worth the 5-year, $272 million contract because the guy can still play basketball. If you just keep focused on basketball and not everything else around him, like the whole cinematic, anti-Semitic, whatever he had, some Jewish stuff or whatever he did on social media, I don't care. I think when he plays on the basketball court with his average and his shooting and his ball handling can really help the Dallas Mavericks. But I think, in my opinion, if you want to win a championship or compete in this Western Conference with the Denver Nuggets and the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns at that, you need to go get role players to help out Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving if you don't get a LeBron James. Simple as that. Simple as that. I don't think you're going to get LeBron James because I think that's unrealistic. is very unrealistic. But if you want to try to compete in this Western Conference right now, you're going to have to go get role players to compete with them. Luka and Kyrie can't do it on their own. They can be a 1-2 punch, yeah. But if them two is not making shots or turning the ball over, who can you go to as a third option on this basketball team? I don't know. I don't know at all. So Kyrie wanting to stay in Dallas is a good sign. It's a great sign. Because if he goes anywhere else, he's going to get less. 4 years, $202 million, according to what Bleacher Report had to say. So when it comes down to it, Kyrie Irving is going to have to make that contract happen. And if you're going to try to trade for LeBron James, how the hell you're going to re-sign him after you trade for him? I do not see the Dallas Mavericks paying 3 players the max. And you got a bunch of scrubs as role players. I just don't see it. It doesn't make any sense to me to go out and get a LeBron James, and knowing that he's 1 year left on his contract for the Los Angeles Lakers, by the way. So if you go trade for him during this offseason, which the Lakers probably won't do anyway, depending on what they want. They probably want Luka Doncic in return, but that's not going to happen either. So this trade is not going to work. It's just not going to work. Nip this in the bud, please. Nip this in the bud. But I'm happy that Kyrie Irving wants to stay a Dallas Maverick. I don't think he wants to go to another team. He's been in Cleveland. He's been in Brooklyn. He's been in Boston. Now he's with the Dallas Mavericks. Do you think he want to go anywhere else at this point? No. I mean, you could go out and go get a Jaylen Brown. You could trade for a Jaylen Brown and not a LeBron James. But I understand why you won't trade for a Jaylen Brown, because he's not LeBron James. I get it. But you can still go out there and get some quality players to help you around this ball club for the Dallas Mavericks. You can actually find somebody that you can look. You can actually find people in free agency. I mean, Damian Lillard, I think he's probably went out of Portland at this point. I think his loyalty is up there. I definitely think his loyalty is up there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But when it comes down to it, Kyrie Irving, you want to stay there? Cool. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But I'm going to get on to the next topic, man. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw's results. Because, we got a lot of NFL talk about. And I was watching Monday Night Raw for the first time in forever, because I usually don't watch these shows. I barely watch SmackDown. I barely watch anything related to the WWE when it comes to the weekly stuff. I just watch the pay-per-views. That's just me. I watched the pay-per-views, and I was able to watch Monday Night Raw last night. And I was kind of confused about some stories on Monday Night Raw. I was really confused. Especially the whole Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar situation. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. What the hell Dominic Mysterio has anything to do with this storyline? I'll be completely honest. Like, why would you put him in the storyline with Cody Rhodes and Cody Rhodes have beef with Brock Lesnar? Why would you throw him in there? I hate it. I can't stand it. I thought it was dumb. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like the recap of it. It just looked weird on Monday Night Raw tonight. I mean, Becky Lynch, she's in the qualifying match for the Money in the Bank. Ricochet and Bronson Reed have a feud going on. Raw was okay. Seth Rollins defended his world championship title against Damian Priest, which Seth Rollins retained, which I expected him to retain. And I think he's going to defend that Money in the Bank, if I'm not mistaken. But I love that the fact that they went back to having a world heavyweight title being defended on Monday Night Raw. I do like that, because we don't usually see a title shot, a big title shot, on these flagship shows anymore. We just don't see it. We don't see it. So when it comes to Monday Night Raw, seeing the title on the line on a Monday Night Raw was pretty interesting to me because I'm a big Seth Rollins fan. So I can't. I say that match, that main event was pretty good. It really was. Now the match that I did like, that I thought it really had me at the edge of my seat, was Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, going up against one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. Well, not really one half, actually the Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Seth Rollins. Not Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, I'm sorry. And Kevin Owens. I know that his two guys, Gunther's two guys, I forgot the name of the team. I think it's Imprism or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't watch wrestling like that. I don't watch it like that. But the tag team came up to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage, and they set up a match, for Kevin Owens to battle Gunther. And it was just 3-on-2 when it looked like it, because Kevin Owens took his eyes off Gunther. Gunther rolled him up and gave him the 3. That was it. That was completely it. But it was a great match. It was a good match for a Monday Night Raw. That has not been good. And I don't understand why Raw is 3 hours long. I just don't get it. 3 hours long for a bunch of matches. A bunch of, okay, you could do this, you could do that. You could put filler matches in there for 3 hours. I mean, you had that new tag team that went up against Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler yesterday, that debuted. I forgot the name of their team. But try to give Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler for a run in a tag team match was pretty good. We had one of the girls go up to the top rope and do a 450 splash. I was impressed by that. Especially being in a debut on a WWE roster. It was a pretty impressive match that they had against Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. But of course, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler actually won the match. We know that. That was the obvious. I wasn't going to let them lose on a tag team's debut. But I like the fact that the WWE is trying to get more women tag teams so Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey can have tag team titles, have some competition instead of holding them titles and not defending them at all. So I like the move that they did there. But Raw overall was just okay. It was just an okay show. I look forward to SmackDown and their storyline with the Bloodline and what the Usos is going to do. And what Solo's going to do. Is he going to stay a part of the Bloodline, or he's going to be with his brothers? What is Jey Uso's going to do? What is his decision? Is he going to stay with the Bloodline in the Tribal Chief and Roman Reigns? Who knows? But I love that storyline better than like any storyline on Raw. And that's the case. That's for me to see. And it remains seen. And I'm looking forward to what the matches are going to look like at Money in the Bank. But I didn't like the Miz TV segment. Of course, you had Cody Rhodes on the Miz TV in that segment. But I didn't understand why you brought out Dominic Mysterio. What that have to do with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes? Dominic Mysterio is just trying to find a way in a storyline because he don't have a real storyline outside of his father. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. Dominic Mysterio does not have a storyline outside of his father after his father retired and went into the Hall of Fame and gave you a spanking at WrestleMania this past year. So now they're going to try to fill in Dominic Mysterio with Rhea Ripley knowing that she's the Raw Women's Champion now. He's hiding behind her like a little punk, as he is. And I didn't understand the storyline. If anybody in the comments can understand the storyline between Dominic Mysterio and Cody Rhodes, please tell me. Because they came out there to talk about Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes was, I'll be in any city, anywhere, anytime, any place. Brock Lesnar, you find me in that city. That's what Cody Rhodes was really calling him out on Miz TV. That's basically what it was. But somebody need to let me know something about Dominic Mysterio. Because all he's doing is hiding behind Judgment Day. He's not doing nothing in Judgment Day. I think that fraction is going to break up pretty soon because everybody having individual matches. And where the hell is Finn Balor? Where the hell is Finn Balor in all of this? I didn't see him on. I mean, he came out there on Damian Priest with Damian Priest to get him a title match. But where the hell is Finn Balor? Why he's not getting any more title shots? That's a question that remains seen. That is a question remains seen. That's all I gotta say about it. People might say wrestling is not a sport, it's entertainment, but it's still, you have a bunch of athletes in that ring that risk their life, and it's a sport. Just like the NBA. They risk their life and put their bodies on the line. That's a sport. Football, which you have to get into next, is definitely a sport. It's definitely a sport. But Monday Night Raw was not great in my situation, in my feelings. I don't think that it was great. I didn't think so. I thought it was terrible. Only reason why I watched Monday Night Raw because it was nothing else on. It was nothing else on. So, yeah, I was not a big fan of Monday Night Raw last night. So let's get straight into it, man. I need to stay on top of watching Raw and SmackDown. Leo Mendez, I do too, bro. I do too. I do need to, figure out to stay on top of it. It's just hard to watch Raw for 3 hours. It's just hard. It's hard. I'd rather watch a SmackDown than watch a Raw. That's just me. For 3 hours, because no disrespect to the Stanley Cup, but I don't know hockey to watch the Stanley Cup. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't want to disrespect the sport of NHL because I don't know it. Maybe I need to learn it so we could talk more about it on the show. But I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know. Right, Leo, I only watch the pay-per-view stuff, the pay-per-view events that catches me up. That's just what it is. For the WWE. That's just what it is. And unfortunately with the hockey, so yeah, like when it comes down to the WWE, I watched that before I watched the Stanley Cup. No disrespect to the Stanley Cup Finals. I have the utmost respect for everybody over in the NHL. It's just something that I don't watch. Maybe I need to get into watching. Maybe I need to. Maybe I actually need to. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the next topic. But the next topic is definitely different, y'all. So make sure y'all share this. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel of the Darion Hopkins Show on YouTube at Darion Hopkins Show. Make sure you follow the social medias at Darion Hopkins Show on Twitter, at Darion Hopkins Show on Instagram, at Darion Hopkins Show on Facebook, which we're all live on those social platforms right now outside of Instagram. Instagram need to find some integration where we could use StreamYard, where we could use, StreamYard for Instagram. They got to have some integration somewhere there. They got to. But what's going on, Destiny Hayes? What's going on, Des? What's going on, beautiful? So, can the Dallas Cowboys, we get into some football, man, because I know some Dallas Cowboys fans want to come up on this show. I know they are. Can the Dallas Cowboys offense is strong enough to win a Super Bowl? As a Raiders fan, hell no. Because I'm still going off the win that we beat them in Thanksgiving. I don't give a shit. I don't care. But can the Dallas Cowboys offense strong enough for a Super Bowl run? I love listening to you two talk about sports. Thank you. I appreciate it, beautiful. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on the YouTube channel too. I'm live over there too at the Darion Hopkins Show. But can the Cowboys offense is strong enough for them to win a Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not. I'm going to tell you why the Dallas Cowboys would not get to the Super Bowl because of their offense. Because it's Dak Prescott's issue. Dak Prescott is the issue. People might disagree with me on this, but I don't care. Dak Prescott has too many turnovers, and he's hindering the offense with Dak Prescott. He has too many interceptions. He's injury prone. He cannot stay healthy 90% of his games. Not even 90%. I'm gonna lower that. About 60%, 60 to 50%. Not 90%. I was wrong for that. But the Dallas Cowboys offense, if you look at it, they drafted that running back in this year draft. That his father's on the coaching staff. I got the guy's name. Of course, they have a CeeDee Lamb, one of the best receivers in this league since coming into the draft. You have a Tony Pollard coming off of an injury. A bad injury at that. I think it was his Achilles or a broken ankle. No Ezekiel Elliott. No Dalton Schultz. So I'm trying to figure out here what makes this offense powerful for them to go to the Super Bowl. Michael Gallup has not been the same since he tore his ACL. Understand Dallas just signed Tyron Johnson, which the Raiders had him on and off the roster majority of the season last year and this offseason. But Dak Prescott is the reason why this offense cannot score points. This offensive line is okay. It's all right. It ain't the best. It protects Dak when he needed to. But Dak has to be a better quarterback for this offense to go. He has to be better. Don't get me wrong, the numbers look good, but you lost it back-to-back divisional. I think it was divisional or wild card games, if I'm not mistaken. You got to get to at least an NFC championship to even think about an offense going to the Super Bowl. You lost in the same round for the last 2 years. And this defense really been holding y'all up. The offense can't move because Dak Prescott does not get it done. He just doesn't. He doesn't get it done. Now you don't have a workhorse because you released Ezekiel Elliott. You don't have a workhorse. Now you have a running back by committee type of team. I'm not a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I think they are an okay team. I still think they're not the best team in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles run that division as of right now. The Giants are on the come up. If they put a little bit more pressure on Daniel Jones to throw more touchdowns and less interceptions, but Dak Prescott can't even be on the field majority of the season. Breaking his hand, coming back, getting his team to the playoffs, and falling face down again. That's what happens with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just going to be honest here. Dallas Cowboys, they have some good rankings too in offense. But they cannot get over the hump. They can't get past the divisional or the wild card to save their life. And Dallas have not been to a Super Bowl since their 90s days. They ain't been to a conference championship in their 90s days. They've been to divisionals and wild cards, and these are the only two things that's been happening for the Dallas Cowboys in this offense. I think the defense is pretty good. I'm not going to disrespect the defense. They do have sometimes they blow a lot of coverages, but their front seven is pretty good. But the Dallas Cowboys offense is strong enough to take them to a Super Bowl. It's potential there. I wouldn't say yes or no, but it's potential there. As long as Dak Prescott plays up to his potential, then yes, it can happen. But if Dak Prescott keep playing the way that he's playing in the last couple of years and staying injury prone, then absolutely not. No. I think one thing about Dallas Cowboys, their defense is going to get them off the field. Defense is going to get themselves off the field. The offense got to score points. Defense can't do it for you all the time now. So Dak Prescott, I'm calling you out. This is your year to get this team over the hump and get them to the conference championship. But if not, the Eagles is going to own you. The Eagles is going to own you for a long time because they're young. They're fast. And I understand the Philadelphia Eagles has lost both of their coordinators, but I think they re-up. And I think they learned a lot from that Super Bowl loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. At least the Eagles got there. Dallas, you have to get there. But I think your offense is pretty good. I think your offense is okay. And just to remind you, I totally forgot to mention this. Yes, they did go get Brandon Cooks. So that's interesting to see how that's going to work, knowing they got rid of T.Y. Hilton. They only had him for a couple of games. And you go out and you trade for a Brandon Cooks to go to Dallas. The guy could ball. Every team that he went on, he had 1,000-yard receiving. No matter what team he went to. Shit, as a Raiders fan, I would have had him. Love to have him on the football team. But the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl with this offense, the potential is there. But you got to get through the New York Giants. You got to get to an up-and-coming Washington Commanders, and you got to get to the Philadelphia Eagles. You got to get through them before you think about a Super Bowl. Simple as that. Simple as that. Real Tagoons TV, what's going on, brother? And Leo Mendez, what's out of Leo? That's my co-host for Nothing But Raiders podcast. He says facts. It don't matter how many pieces you add. The main piece ain't the one. Dak can't get it down. You know what? Dak Prescott is really, really good, but he's not great. And of course, yeah, if you go look at My Football Life with Tony Romo and how Tony Romo lost his job to Dak Prescott and stuff of that nature. But Dak ain't been the same. Even Dak, like, if they find them a quarterback in the draft, they're going to replace Dak Prescott sooner or later. But they gotta. I don't think their offense had the potential to get them to the Super Bowl. But it's really up to Dak to lead them to the Super Bowl. It's up to Dak. I'm just nervous about their running back position now. Now they don't have an Ezekiel Elliott. They got a Tony Pollard, and they went and got that rookie in the later rounds. I forgot his name, but I know his father's on the coaching staff and stuff of that nature for the Dallas Cowboys. Remind me of a Jalen Brunson situation with the New York Knicks, if you look at it. So I want to get into this next topic here because this has been one of these topics that we've been talking about players being suspended for betting. And this topic has really been big in the last couple of weeks and the last couple of months about players betting, in the league. And we just had another one come out of Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers, the cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts, he got caught with the betting situation. And the NFL is going to investigate Coach Isaiah Rodgers for possible betting. So I'm going to just give y'all a little bit of this too. And rest, but right now they have Isaiah Rodgers from the Indianapolis Colts under investigation. So the NFL is going to investigate the Indianapolis Colts cornerback and kick returner Isaiah Rodgers for possible violations of the league gambling policy. Now, the team acknowledged the inquiry on Monday, stating that in this statement, without naming Rodgers, we are aware of the NFL investigations and we will have no further comment at this time for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Rodgers then addressed the situation in a tweet on Monday night, saying that he wants to take full responsibility for his actions. And then he said, end quote, he says that I have made mistakes and I am willing to do whatever it takes to repair the situation that Rodgers wrote. The last thing I ever wanted to do was to be a distraction to the Indianapolis Colts organization, and I care about that I care about. And then he said, I made an error in judgment that I am going to work hard to make sure these mistakes are rectified through the process. It's an honor to play in the NFL, and I have never taken it lightly, and I'm very sorry for all of this. Mac, I'm going to bring you up in a little bit. Just give me 1 second here. Let me finish reading this topic for you, and I'm going to get your thoughts on it. Now, Isaiah Rodgers is a 6th-round pick entering into the final year of his contract of a 4-year, $3.4 million contract. The sportsbook account was opened under a name of an associate of Rodgers, sources said. Approximately 100 bets were placed on that account over the undisclosed amount of time, including Colts games, and the sources said the most of the bets were into the $25 to $50 range, although there was at least one low 4-figure bet. Now, Rodgers started 9 games in 2022. It was seen as likely a starter following the trade of Stephon Gilmore to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if Rodgers is suspended, it could press the rookie quarterback Julius Brents in the second-round pick in April, and it comes to the NFL draft. So the news comes to the report after sportshandle.com, which cited the investigation into the Colts player persuading betting, including wages placed on his own team. And the player is not named in the report, nor did the officials reveal his identity. So the NFL spokesman, when they asked about the ESPN comment for the report, said in a text message, "Is nothing to add." So the Indiana Gaming Commission confirmed that ESPN had to receive information pertaining to this matter and following the developments. The IGC is not led agencies on this matter and involve alleged violations of the league policy at this point. Jenny Reski, deputy director of the Indiana Gaming Commission, wrote an email and a statement to ESPN. "We will, however, continue to review the information and emerge to determine of what, if any, regulatory actions is necessary." So before we get into any more talks about this Isaiah Rodgers situation, because it's been a lot going on around the NFL when it comes to sports betting in itself, I have to bring finally my co-host I have not seen in a couple days. Yeah, I've been doing this by myself lately. But my boy Matt Campbell is in the building. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody?
Thank God you back, man. Shit.
Yeah, man. I like I said, I can hop on here for like 10, 15 minutes before I got to go back in. But yeah, man, like the sports betting topic, like it's basic stuff here, man. You know, if you're playing on a team, you can't be involved. You can't. As a professional athlete, like I understand it's fun. Make a bet with your homies. Don't go in sports betting because now you're jeopardizing your career. You're jeopardizing your name. It's just it's too big of a deal to just let it go because you have an unfair advantage because you have all the inside information. You have the numbers to text other guys. You can text other players. You can find out what's going on that other people just can't. You're going to know things that other people don't know. You have an advantage. And that right there in itself is a reason why it's just unfair. Now, at the beginning of the season, they let it be known last year, like no on sports betting. Like don't do it. Don't download an app. Don't have your homies place bets for you. Just don't do it. Like they came out and said Roger Goodell said that. So for it to be an issue, it's kind of on you, bud. It's your fault. You knew the repercussions, what was going to happen if you got caught up for doing this stuff. So now you got caught up, and it is like do I think like they should suspend guys for a year? No, but they definitely need to have consequences, whether it's a 2-game, 5-game, 6-game suspension, to where it costs the player, to where like you see now you're losing money. Let's stop making these bad decisions.
Yeah, because we just saw Jameson Williams, the wide receiver that got drafted last year out of Alabama for the Detroit Lions. He has a 6-game suspension due to that. I think it's really big for Isaiah Rodgers because he betted on his own team. Now, I think that sports betting should be allowed in the NFL if you're betting on not the sport that you play. I think you should be allowed to bet on NBA. I think you're allowed to bet on NHL or any other sport outside of the sport that you actually play.
Yeah, but it's so
I think you
new.
should do that.
But it's so new until you have solid guidelines that state like, you can bet on the MLB if you're not in the MLB. But even
Right.
still, Even still, though, it's still a little bit of an unfair advantage because you're a professional athlete, your platform. You're not going to tell me that, like Sauce Gardner. We'll just use him as an example. Sauce Gardner can text any athlete he wants from the Major League Baseball. Everybody's going to take his number. Everybody's going to accept that call. And so that's what I'm saying. It still gives an unfair advantage to these guys because athletes know other athletes. They know other superstars. They meet and greet all the time. They talk to each other. So again, if I'm sitting here and I'm Sauce Gardner and I know AD, right, and AD's playing in the finals, and we had a conversation. He's like, yeah, my leg's bothering me a little bit. So then now I know AD's bothered, and I'm just, again, this is just an example, right? And go and say AD on, he bets against AD, oh, he's betting under on AD rebounds, betting under AD points because he knows his leg is messed up. You know what I mean? So now he's got that advantage because everybody else doesn't know that. Only he knows that. And that's why I'm saying until they make like actual guidelines that say like X, Y, and Z you cannot do, period. You're allowed to do X, Y, and Z. Once they come out with those exact parameters of it, I think it's going to be a lot easier for players to not violate. But until then, it's a super fine line between right and wrong. And you know what I mean? Like I said, if I was jeopardizing my money, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Now, Leo just said in the comments, it's pretty ironic considering the NFL be shoving the betting in your face with the promotions even during the game. That's
Yeah.
true too. That's true too. They do be shoving sports betting down our throats a lot. And I just feel like I want to know from the NFL, what is the actual policy? What is the actual violation of these guys getting that? Because if they're betting on their own teams, then I understand they deserve the suspension. You should never bet on your own team, unless you're a professional athlete that you play for that organization. You should not bet on your own team. Absolutely not. And this was the case in Isaiah Rodgers' situation. That I think he
Yeah.
betted on the Indianapolis Colts.
They should just make that called the Pete Rose rule in every sport. The Pete Rose rule.
Exactly.
Like under no circumstances can you put any type of money on a game that you're playing in or a game that your team is playing. Like that's a guaranteed golden. It's in there, and that's what I'm saying. Like Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame because of that. This single, like you're talking about, one of the greatest hitters to get on base is exclusively not in there because of that. Just because of sports gambling. So it's like, like this is just stuff that they should have already implemented by, and I'm hoping before the start of spring training in August. Well, by August, I hope they actually have a foundation of this, and this. These are the do nots, because until then, everything is gray and foggy. So it's like the line is so thin, you don't know which side you're going to be on. That's
Right.
why in my case, I say if it's my money and it's my career on the line, I'm just not doing it.
I just think I think athletes should be allowed to do it, but do it to a certain extent. If you're going to do it on another league. Do it on another league or another player or something of that nature. Even if you get to college sports, you get to the NCAA tournament. Bet on that. You know what I'm saying? You bet on stuff.
Yeah.
You bet on stuff that's like the College World Series or the NCAA tournament, the college football playoff. You can bet on stuff like that. Or if you don't want to go to the professional side of it, you won't get in trouble as much if you go to the college side of it. But it goes back to hand if you have to think about it. What if the college players want to do it? And I know you got the palm trees and everything, man.
Palm trees in Pennsylvania. Palm trees in Pennsylvania. Like, dude, but hold on. I got to show you what we did.
But that's the artwork that y'all did?
It's like the Wu-Tang bee.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, that's dope, man. That's what you in Hershey, right?
Plugging Epoxy Depot in here.
Okay. See, the man is working, but he still made time to come up here and talk about this topic. It's crazy that you popped on around this topic too, because I did have a topic for you.
I was watching you a little bit throughout the show. But like I said, I'm at work, so I can't really like stay situated in one place here. But
Right.
yeah, no, man, and I'm gonna say it now. Congratulations to the Heat. They stole a game in Denver. That was a
That
well
messed up your
played
bet
game.
too, did it? Did mess up
That
your
was a
bet
well
too.
played game. And listen to me, they did it right, right? You don't have to stop Jokic. You got to stop Murray and the role players, and let Jokic eat. But if you look at Jokic's assists, if you can keep his assists down by blocking Murray, they got a real chance. They got a chance. Eric
Now,
Spoelstra came up with one hell of a game plan, and then I love the fact that Eric Spoelstra, after the fact, got on there and was like, "No, give all respect to these guys. Don't take nothing from Joker. Joker's been the greatest player in the game over the last 2 seasons. Like he's been one of the greatest, if not the best." And I love the fact that Eric Spoelstra is staying humble and sticking to the game plan.
of
It
course.
does that gives me a huge confidence boost for him. But
Now,
like I said, I
did you
can't
hear the
wait for the
stats that
Nate.
I said earlier about Nikola Jokic when they win and when they lose?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Well,
just wanted to make sure you heard that segment part of it. I want to make sure because when he scores 41 or more, Denver loses, and it's just crazy to me that happens. You know?
yeah, you got to realize he's got to take those shots. That's the reason why he has to, because he's trying to keep him in the game, and that's the biggest problem when they don't have all that taken care of. It's going to be a problem and an issue.
All right,
But
so I don't know when you got to go
I got to
back.
get back in here. I'm
All
getting
right,
called in here now.
okay. So one question before you go. Not even one
Okay.
question. Fill in the blank real quick. The Miami Heat win the championship would be blank.
One of the greatest playoff runs in history.
We agree to that. So you can head on out. We agree.
Oh
We
no, no.
agree to that.
And I'll say this. Okay. This is the best championship finals we've had in decades. And I'll say that for damn sure. You know what I mean? You can take it to the bank. The fact that you have a team that has never made it to the finals, never won a championship out of Denver, out of all the good teams that they've had over the years, you know what I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, you've got a team that have clawed, scratched, and literally forced their way into the finals, not being able to take an easy step all the way through.
Right.
And like I said, whichever one wins, it's going to be a historical season. But yes, if the Miami Heat can pull this out and win, I mean, it puts Spoelstra on a different level. It puts Butler on a different level. And then just the team that they built. So many undrafted guys, so many guys that were seen as inferior to other teams have come here and blossomed. And that's why I said, like, it's going to be one of those teams where it's just like nobody's going to forget it. Nobody's going to forget it. They're going to make documentaries. It's going to be a big fucking thing. But all
It
right,
definitely
guys,
is.
y'all have a good one. I will check in tomorrow. I'll make sure I check in tomorrow. All right.
All right, no problem, man. Thanks for coming through real quick
Peace.
and giving your opinions real quick, brother.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Keep going, brother. You're doing great.
Thank you. I
Peace.
appreciate it. I appreciate it, man.
Peace.
But my co-host Matt Campbell got to go back to work, ladies and gentlemen. He has to go back to work. So that's why I've been doing this by myself, because he's been on the road doing his thing, doing his job as he can. But yeah, man, he agreed with me about the Miami Heat situation. That's why I left that fill in the blank for him. If the Miami Heat win the championship, it'll be the greatest run in NBA history. We both agreed to that. But let's get back into the NFL. Look, we got a couple more topics here, and we want to get back into the NFL. So I know I don't want to talk about this because this is my rival, but this is one of the topics that I want to hear about because I'm a Raiders fan and I think it needs to be talked about. Josh Jacobs. I don't know if y'all heard any news out of the whole situation with Josh Jacobs. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this later, but it's up there on the thing. It's up there. I took it out the bag. Because I made. But yeah, but when it comes to Josh Jacobs, I saw this on the I saw this on Raider Scout. Shout out to Raider Scout. I respect him a lot. And it was the update that he gave us on the Josh Jacobs situation when it comes to my Raiders. According to Raider Scout, he says that the current expectations around the NFL running back Josh Jacobs will play for the Raiders this season. Neither party is frustrated at extension talks and want to get it done quickly. There's a mutual interest in the contract while they're currently holed up with money where Josh Jacobs is seeking more guaranteed money than the Raiders are offering right now. So basically what we see is this, is that I guess, I don't know what the number is for his extension. I don't know what Josh Jacobs is actually offering. And this is just going to be a quick take because I know I still got to go on to another topic that before we get into it, before we end the show here. But when it comes to Josh Jacobs, man, I don't know how much he's offering. I don't know how much he's asking for. But I know if it's more than what the team is offering, I have no clue what's going to happen here with Josh Jacobs. The guy's the best running back in the league at this point when it comes to yards, when it comes to carries, when it comes to touchdowns, when it comes to all-purpose yards from receiving the ball and running the ball. When you see it from both, Josh Jacobs is one of those guys that can get it done for you no matter what football team he's on. And I'm fortunate, and I'm very fortunate to have him on the Las Vegas Raiders. I absolutely do. But this got to get done sooner or later. The second round of free agency is about to happen. And we definitely need Josh Jacobs by training camp. Because today, according to today, mandatory minicamp start today. So I don't know if Josh Jacobs is there at mandatory minicamps. It starts this week for the NFL, for everybody in the league, for mandatory minicamps. And you know with the whole situation with Jimmy Garoppolo, and now we have Josh Jacobs situation. The Las Vegas Raiders, whatever that man wants, you give it to him. I do not give a shit at this point. You give it to him. Saquon Barkley's probably on the same boat, having no balance between the guaranteed money. Saquon Barkley's probably saying the same damn thing for the New York Giants. But just get it done. Just get it done, y'all. Just get it done for the Las Vegas Raiders. Just get it done. Just get it done. But let's get to the actual initial topic into here. And this is a division rival situation with the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for the Darion Hopkins Show. Make sure y'all follow us on social media at the Darion Hopkins Show at Instagram, at the Darion Hopkins Show on Facebook, and at the Darion Hopkins Show on Twitter as well. But the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Staley says the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers said that, the negotiations with their QB Justin Herbert are ongoing. Now, this is according to NFL.com. This is not me quoting this. I am going to give my thoughts after it, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm doing any plagiarism or anything of that nature, because people want to sub on Twitter and do all that dumb shit. But this is according to NFL.com, and I'm going to put my own opinion on it afterwards. Now, it does say from Michael Backer of the NFL.com that Justin Herbert is becoming one of the most NFL top earners as he's approaching his final year of his rookie deal. Now, the Chargers head coach Brandon Staley on Monday described the contract negotiations with Herbert as an ongoing heading into the team annual golf charity event, according to ESPN Lindsay Tahiri. Now, Justin Herbert, who is under the contract through 2024 season after the Chargers exercised the former first-round pick's fifth-year option this past April, maintaining his commitment to the franchise on Monday despite not having an update on the situation. And quote unquote, it says, "There's such a great job of taking care of us, and my message hasn't really changed," Herbert said via Tahiri. "It's been an honor to be a part of this team and great to come to events like this. Whatever happens. It's out of my control at this point." Now, when it comes to Justin Herbert, he is set to make $29.5 million in 2024 under his fifth-year option, and he is scheduled to earn $4.23 million this upcoming season. And those numbers are far cry from the QB market that is flourishing right now, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles getting Jalen Hurts his money and Ravens Lamar Jackson his money earning $255 million plus contracts this offseason. Now, upon the announcement of those big long-term deals, Tom Telesco suggested that there were necessary a blueprint that will affect the negotiations with Justin Herbert. The Chargers general manager also said in this offseason that Herbert is looming is a payday, a good problem to have. Now, Herbert, who underwent shoulder surgery this offseason, was asked Monday if he's okay to play in his fourth season without a new deal. He said, "That is a good question. I think something that we have to address. You may have to think about it," Herbert said. "My job is to point us and play quarterback and be the best leader and quarterback and teammate that I can be. So I'm doing everything I can to rehab and get back to make sure my shoulder is ready for this upcoming season." Now, the Chargers struck gold when they selected Justin Herbert in the number 6 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. In the 3 seasons with 25-year-old, he has 14,089 passing yards, 94 touchdowns, and 35 interceptions with a 66.9 completion percentage. In 2022, Justin Herbert led the Chargers into the postseason for the first time following a 10-win season. All Herbert can do in the meantime is ensure he is steady improvement and maintains before they strike gold himself. This is a pretty interesting topic here. A pretty interesting topic, and I'm going to be completely honest here because even though I'm not a Chargers fan, I still talk football. Do I think Justin Herbert is a great quarterback? Absolutely. I think he's the second best quarterback we have in this division outside of Patrick Mahomes. That's just personally saying it. I'm taking my Raider fandom out of it, and I'm just being real. Justin Herbert is the second best quarterback in the AFC West. Sorry to say it, Las Vegas Raiders fans, got to be realistic here. I don't know who's going to be our quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, so I can't put anybody at number 2 at this point. We don't know what the hell's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo. Another story for another time. But Justin Herbert playing on his final year of his contract, he's going to have to ball out this year. He's going to have to ball this year, and his offensive line is going to have to protect him. Now, I don't know what's going on with Austin Eckler and his situation of him wanting to be traded, which I don't think they're going to trade Austin Eckler. I don't think they're going to trade him. Austin Eckler wants a better contract, though. So the contract negotiations is ongoing, but I feel like with Justin Herbert, you got to pay the man his money. Joe Burrow is saying the same thing for Cincinnati. You got to pay the man his money. You see Jalen Hurts get paid. You see Lamar Jackson get paid. It's time for Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow to get paid. It's just that time. They got to get paid. Especially with the Chargers. And the Chargers, if they want to keep moving it up, scaling and trying to get to that next level, even though I can't stand the chokers, that's what I call them. I can't stand the chokers because they in my division. But if I take my fandom out of it, I got to be smart about it. Justin Herbert is one of the best quarterbacks in this league. One of the best. He has a great arm. He's very talented, and he's very smart at what he does. And I'm taking my full fandom out of Raider fandom out of it. Out of it. But I know for a fact that Justin Herbert is going to get a contract done. I know he has shoulder surgery. He's rehabbing, but he has time. He has time. I think he's going to be 100% healthy this year. Offensive line is going to have to help him, especially if he's going to fall on that shoulder after having shoulder surgery. He has to play better. He has to be better. This defense got to help him out too, because you got a up-and-coming Broncos team that got Sean Payton and Russell Wilson might bounce back. My Raiders is really uncertain of what type of identity we're going to have now, because we have quarterback and running back issues, and then we have linebacker issues on the defensive side that we don't even know who the hell we got. Another story for another time, though. Then you got the champions in the Kansas City Chiefs, where they just reloading to try to win the division and go back to the Super Bowl. So Justin Herbert's going to have to play every time. He's going to have to ball out to get the money that he wants. He's going to have to ball out. But at least the negotiations are ongoing. That's one thing I can say. I'm happy that they even talking about it because the man deserves his money. The man deserves his money. If Lamar Jackson deserved that money, Justin Herbert definitely earns his money. The man got 14,000 passing yards in almost 5 seasons with the Chargers. That's insane. That's insane with 94 touchdowns and 35 interceptions in his career so far, 66.9% completion percentage. Good. Justin Herbert definitely deserves all the money in the world. But you still have to build this roster to help him. Even though that he's still got Mike Williams, he got Keelan Allen. He still got those guys. Still got a great tight end over there. Still got an okay defense, as with the Derwin James and them boys. But they still need some pieces, a little bit more pieces around them to get there. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we are on the final topic of today, ladies and gentlemen. Final topic of today. Who is the best team in the AFC East? Now we have the Buffalo Bills. We have the New York Jets. We have the New England Patriots. And we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, we all know that the Buffalo Bills has been running this division for a couple of years now. Post-Tom Brady era, if you get what I'm saying. New England has not won that division since the post-Tom Brady era with the AFC East. Now you got a new quarterback in this division. And Aaron Rodgers. Can the Jets dethrone the Buffalo Bills in this AFC East? It can be possible. It can be possible. Can the Miami Dolphins bounce back from being the team that they were last year and being dominant and compete for this AFC East? Absolutely. I think the only team that's far away from winning this division is the New England Patriots. They have a long way to go to get back to that promised land of owning the AFC East, because majority of the years I've been watching football since 2002, they own that division. I remember Brady used to own that division in a landslide. It's been talking about the Patriots won 11 games and still ain't make the playoffs. That'll still mind-boggling to me. That's where they had Matt Castle at the time. But I don't see them right now in 2023. It's more than just Mac Jones ate that guy, Hefe. It's just more than just Mac Jones. That man don't have no real receivers. Nelson Aguilar went up there and got that bag after having a career year with the Raiders, and it didn't do shit. Jacoby Myers, he all right. I don't even like him with the Raiders right now. I'm not a big fan of him. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I think the cards that Mac Jones was dealt with is the reason why New England is not winning football games. And then when you have a defensive coordinator calling offensive plays for you, that's not a good look. And I'm kind of happy that they went out and got the offensive coordinator from Alabama. He's the former Texas quarterback. He's right there on the it's right there on the bottom of my, it's right there on my tongue, and I really can't get it. I really can't get his name. He was the head coach of the Houston Texans. He was the offensive coordinator for Alabama. I cannot get it. Yeah, young QBs need a lot of great weapons. They do. They do. So I feel like the New England Patriots is far away, leaning back far away from winning the AFC East. Now, Miami right there is on a come up. You still have a Tyreek Hill there. You still have Jalen Waddle there. I think they still need to go out and get a running back, if that's my personal opinion. Gesicki is not there. He went to New England. But they always, and they always improve at tight ends. And I think the guy, I think his name is Mike McDaniels, if I'm not mistaken. Mike McDaniels, that was a former offensive coordinator, now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. This defense is going to be really better. I think they can compete with the Buffalo Bills in this segment. I think they can. It's going to really be up to Tua. Can Tua stay healthy? Can Tua not get concussions? Can Tua find a way to win games and not leave and come back? The Miami Dolphins is really up for Tua to be the engine that drives this thing. He got to be the driver and the engine. He got to be both. Because Tua, don't get me wrong, he's a good quarterback. He is injury prone as hell. That's the issue with Tua at this point with the Miami Dolphins. If they could get him upright and keep him protected and not get him dirty, I think Tua would be fine with the weapons that he have. Now we get to the New York Jets. They went out and got a 1-year stint with Aaron Rodgers. They went out and got Alan Lazard. They brought Randall Cobb over there. They got the other wide receiver in the draft. I forgot his name, from Ohio State. They got Garrett Wilson in last year's draft. Breece Hall might be coming back offensively for this. And Michael Carter, another running back that they have for the New York Jets. They beefed up the offensive line. We already know what the defense can do for the New York Jets now. We already know what they can do. I think the Jets is probably the best team right now in this division to dethrone the Buffalo Bills. I would not be surprised if you see that. Now, we could come back to this live. We could come back to this video at 1 hour and 31 minutes and 51 seconds on today's date of June 6th of 2023. And I said, and I quote, that the Jets are the closest team to dethroning the Bills in the AFC East this year because of Aaron Rodgers and his capabilities. And the receivers that he got, man, he got some talented receivers. So I like it. And I think the Jets is the only team that really can dethrone the Buffalo Bills. But the Buffalo Bills has just added more to their defense, Getting Leonard Floyd yesterday on a 1-year, $7 million contract. You end up getting them there. Cool. Von Miller probably on his way back. Probably won't start the season off due to his ACL tear. And, blessings to DeMar Hamlin. He's coming back. Only thing you lose really defensively is your best linebacker, which is Tremaine Edmonds. You lose him. Tremaine Edmonds went to Chicago and got the bag. So I don't know how you fill that hole of Tremaine Edmonds. But I think the Bills are a very competitive football team. They always in the AFC Championship aspirations. They always being talked about. So, and then with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and them boys, they could be all right. Dawson Knox, they could be all right. Do I think they'll be dethroned? The only team that's close to dethroning him is the New York Jets. That's the only team that I think that could dethrone the Buffalo Bills in this aspect. Absolutely. That's just my personal opinion. But that is it, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. That is it, y'all, for today's show. For the Darion Hopkins Show episodes. Today is June 6, 2023. Shout out to Hefe for coming extra late. Shout out to Leo. Shout out to Dominique 5. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat today. Shout out to Anthony Estrada. What's going on, brother? What's going on? Salute to you. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. But that is the end of our show today, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of our show today. We are an hour and 34 minutes in. I did not want to talk too much right here. I don't want to keep it, a 2-hour show. But I want to thank everyone for tuning into the show. And make sure y'all follow me on all social medias. Make sure you follow me on all social medias. At the D Hopkins Show on Instagram, at the D Hopkins Show on Twitter, and at the D Hopkins Show on Facebook. And of course, the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on the YouTube channel at the Darion Hopkins Show. We go live every Monday through Friday from 12 to 1:30, probably 2 o'clock-ish. Every single day, Monday through Friday, weekends off. And make sure you check out our audio podcast too, man. We are live on the audio podcast as well. Make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts. We love to give a review, y'all. We love to make sure y'all give us a 5 stars or give us a 1 star. Let us know what we need to do better on the podcast. So make sure you go to Apple Podcasts on your phone, type in the Darion Hopkins Show, and leave us a review or leave us a stars. We would love to hear from what you have to say here on our podcast. We have a Spotify. Yes, Darion Hopkins Show on Spotify. Make sure you follow us there and give us a listen. We are on iHeartRadio. We are on Amazon Music as well. All you have to do is type the Darion Hopkins Show. Our merch is here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, our merch is here. D-Hop Nation t-shirts are available. The link is in the description for the D-Hop Nation t-shirts. Make sure y'all go check those out. Shout out to SeatGeek for being a sponsor of this show. Get $20 off your first purchase for all your sporting events. I know, great talk for the couple minutes. Yeah, y'all came late, man. I know I do my shows at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I got to keep promoting it a little bit more to have more people up in here. But it's all good. But get $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek.com for all live events, sporting events. You want to go to Raiders games, you want to go to Chiefs games, you want to go to NBA Finals, you want to go to the World Series, you want to go to the Stanley Cup Final, you go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code DHopkins and get $20 off your first purchase there. And if you are in the betting world, if you want to be a sports betting person or you want to be in the live casino as itself, make sure you go to betus.com or go to the link in the description to get the special offer and get 125% of your sportsbook upon the initial deposit. Make sure you go check that out. And go check out fanatics.com as well. 65% of the store worldwide, 65% off. So go get your fan gear there. But I said a lot today, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of the Darion Hopkins Show. My name is Darion of the Darion Hopkins Show, and I will see y'all tomorrow, Wednesday, June 7th, to talk about the breakdown of Game 3 of the NBA Finals and so many other sports and topic news to go around. It's the Darion Hopkins Show, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace, love, and blessings, and I will see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. We out of here, y'all. Peace.